Hello everyone and welcome back to Obas Trending Gist. Today we are diving deep into a story that has got the nation buzzing. We are talking about our beloved Super Eagles, their quest for the 2026 World Cup, and a bombshell report from Arise News that exposes some truly unsettling financial issues within Nigerian Football Federation. We will explore how President Tinubu stepped in and the Arise News team are giving him kudos, while others like me are asking, what is really going on behind the scene? This isn't just about football, it is about transparency, accountability, and the future of Nigerian sports. Stay tuned because you won't believe what we uncovered. Sit back and take a watch.
And for updates on sports stories across the globe, Aaron Akirijala joins us. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Aaron. How are you today?
Yes, a very good morning to you, Ayo. Good morning to you, Rufai. Good morning to you, Doctor. Rufai, you're trying to say something? Today? My day's been good.
I said, who are we defending today?
We ain't defending anybody. We would actually be asking more questions that probably giving answers today. But let's get it started today.
The president says, journalists, verification, balance, fairness, knowledge, nation building.
Fair and balance. You don't want to balance something. It'll be fair and balance today.
Okay, let's get straight into it. For the brevity of time, let's get it started. Because today, it's the beginning of crucial encounters if the Super Eagles are to punch their way through to the World Cup in 2026. USA, Mexico, and Canada will be hosting the Mundial next year. And the Super Eagles have been given a lifeline. And I don't know, with all that has happened over the last 48 hours, we are hoping that will not be a big distraction. But whatever happens today at the Al Hassan Moulay Sports Complex in Rabat, Morocco, the Super Eagles will be taking on the Gabonese. And we'll be hoping that they actually come out tops because it's a one-off game. If they win today, they advance to the finals of the African playoffs. If they don't, tail between their legs. Away from that quickly. Now let's get into the crux of the matter. We all know what has been happening, but yesterday one man tweeted talking about the captain of the side, William Ekong Mwen. And this is what he had to say. Issues resolved. Outstanding financials cleared and on ground. Now team is united and focused as before and on representing Nigeria with our maximum for the games ahead. Now the Super Eagles have been embroiled in what some have said has been a distasteful protest. Some have said rightfully so. But these were the players yesterday heading towards training. So that was certain that they actually trained. Now the downside to this particular picture, of this particular video being played right now, is the fact that the Super Eagles only have one training under their belt ahead of this crucial fixture. Because before the protestation happened, only 14 players were available amongst the 26 that were invited. So they didn't have the full complements of all the players in-house to actually perfect a system and perfect strategies. And that means they are going into this training very, very dangerous, because some people say some people are born to play football. Sports science says otherwise. If you do not train, you cannot perform at the highest level. Argue with that. So how that would affect the outcome of this game today, we'll have to wait and see. But as we press it further, I must actually state this because I've done a lot of digging, and let's actually unravel this. Quite distasteful, as I must actually say, because the Nigerian Football Federation, according to what we heard, as of last week Wednesday, were given ₦1 billion confirmed. As Rufai will say, fact check me if you can, and if you want to. ₦1 billion was given to the Nigerian Football Federation last week, received by them for this qualification. So what happened between then, last week Wednesday, and just Tuesday, some few days ago, is a big question, and they will need to answer on that, because the truth is this: what was in dispute was around $189,000. That's in terms of some of the bonuses that needed to be paid. So, because if you take out 189,000, there's still more than enough. And questions are being asked because we heard that the Nigerian Football Federation execs actually flew private jet or probably chartered the plane to go and support the Super Eagles. Big question being asked. And now we'll still press it further. Across the last two games, now talking about the final qualifier series, which actually ended against Benin, where the Super Eagles blitzed the trail, literally. $2 billion has been given. When you actually look at it closely, according to sources, in the last 1 year, 6.5 billion has been given to the Nigerian Football Federation to prosecute matches for the Super Eagles. Some say for the entire team. And that is more than enough because in the last 8 years before last year, they got 15 billion in 8 years. And in 1 year, they've gotten 6.5 billion. Why are we hearing that monies are not being paid? So big questions here. The Nigerian Football Federation, regardless of whether you have to backdate some of these particular bonuses to 2019 or not, this particular figure stands true. And why the boys are being owed is now a big question, because certainly with 2 billion coming in, this should be cleared off quite easily.
Aaron, you have brought a very important matter. You see, the corruption in sports is mind-blowing in this country. And I think we need to dig in. I think there needs to be a forensic audit of the members of NFF as we speak today. Because I also hear, and you can fact-check me, Aaron, that many years ago, that there had been a case where the EFCC investigated NFF and NFF members. True. That a case was even supposed to be in court, but they took that case out. I want that document of the EFCC finding of the NFF then to come out in public circulation. Anybody that has that document, please give us that document. Because now it's as if they've killed that matter. And I'm talking about even the former administration. NFF was investigated, EFCC investigated them. They said the money was going to millions of dollars. I don't know the exact amount, but I've caught a whiff of that story.
But if I
would
if
like
I were
to
follow up on that story,
that document of the investigation of EFCC and what happened to that court case and tie it into this. Hero, how can this NFF be flying private jets?
some might say it might not be private jet, but they chartered a plane.
How can we be chartering a plane at a point in time like this? What sacrifices are they supposed to make for the country? They are chartering planes. Their players have not been paid.
What unfortunate.
They're chartering planes and their players are staying in hotel accommodation that is very
funny.
poor. So you now wonder who are the people really making sacrifices for sports in Nigeria. Yesterday we raised the question around maybe it's time for us to just sit back, sit this one out. I know it's contentious. Some people were saying no, sports is needed for our nation right now. We need something that will bring people together, and sports plays that critical role. But we've continuously seen that despite the efforts of Nigerian sports people, the people who are supposed to be responsible for their welfare are the ones that are sabotaging the sports in itself. And so I also check if this is happening in football. I wonder what is happening in other sports that do not get as much attention. This is football, Nigeria. This is one of our most powerful exports when it comes to sports from Nigeria to the world. And look at how we are handling
it. In all fairness,
okay, be fair.
When it comes to things about remuneration of athletes, we thought it was a thing of the past. No, this is no. So my producer say I'm defending. No, so now the National Sports Commission, since they came in, they've insisted that athletes do come first.
So
and
why
as we've
did
seen,
this happen under this?
So now that's the big
Commission?
question. What role will the National Sports Commission who actually disburse these funds that we're speaking about? Because they actually were the ones that disbursed these funds to the Nigerian Federation.
Yesterday?
They've not.
Have they released a statement? So tell me what you need to know.
Aaron, who bailed them out? Where did that money come from? The money they used to settle all of this.
These monies were already approved. These monies have been approved by the president for quite some time right now.
So President Tinubu has done his job as a
Without,
diligent person,
Rufai, let me say
as
this
he
here.
should do.
Rufai, let me say this here.
But
President
the NFF
Tinubu, in all fairness, has been spot on in funding sports, because it's unfortunate that we are still having a back and forth about the 17 billion that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually approved to pay the backlog of wages and salaries of all the national teams in football. That has not been done fully. Fully, I must say.
Defending anybody. The reports in the papers said it was President Tinubu that intervened to end this embarrassment.
God bless, because I called on him. He's a listening man. God will bless that man.
That is out there in the paper.
You see?
Now, you ask the question, what happened? Simple answer. Nigeria happened.
Yes.
And that is why the House committee, House of Representatives, set up a committee to investigate, to audit all the grants that the Nigerian Football Federation had ever collected, say in the last 10 years or so, from both FIFA and CAF, the Confederation of African Football. That is still on the table. I don't think they have dissolved that committee. And our argument is that it's a good idea to, in fact, expose whatever is hidden. Whether it's the FIFA-sponsored stadium in Kebbi or the one in Ugborodo, unless we have that clear audit, we'll keep having this embarrassment of players not being paid. When it is not footballers, the other day it was basketballers. Yeah. And then they will be going on strike.
No, Doctor, in all fairness,
however,
I don't think we've ever heard, aside this, in the last 1 year, we've not heard about this. And also to correct that
but
paper.
It has happened in the past.
Yes, no, in past time, of course, we've taken that. Now, in the last 1 year, and to correct that paper, because these are some impeccable sources, I must actually tell you, I don't think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will involve himself in disbursing funds twice for the same purpose, because like I've said, that these monies had already been given long before now.
When we say it's the president that intervened, he doesn't need to carry a bag of cash.
Now.
If he had approved something and a particular officer is not acting, as president of Nigeria, the buck stops at his desk. He only needed to give a simple instruction.
Yes.
I want that money paid now. And that was what he did.
Give him his credits.
As for the match today, if we lose to Gabon, the people who held on to the bonuses, who caused the protest by the players, should be held responsible.
Bam!
For discouraging the players.
Bam!
But on the records, we have met Gabon 9 times. We were able to defeat them 5 times. Draws 3 times, 1 win. Today, the Eagles have to win. They have to be in that final.
Old Gabon team without a particular pair maker, Aubameyang. Let's see how it goes. Right now, that team is formidable.
All
very
we
formidable.
want is we need to audit the NFF. That's just
And
it.
heads must roll.
Our heads must
Let the
roll.
audit
Yes,
documents not just be hidden
and
somewhere.
President Tinubu, kudos to you. Thanks for doing this one. I will disagree with you on many things.
If we lose
on
today,
this one.
those NFF officials, they should just stay in Morocco. They should not come back home. Because we will hold them responsible.
Because if they lose, Waro go ni Morocco.
Anyway, thank you, Aaron.
Always a pleasure.
I have.
Always a pleasure.
Always verify your facts.
All right, Doctor, my facts are impeccable and spot on, I must say. Spot on, I must
Okay,
say.
thank you, Aaron.
That was a lot to unpack. The energy, the passion, the commitment from our Super Eagle is undeniable. But beneath that vein of national pride, Arise News has bravely pulled back the curtain on a deeply troubling pattern of financial mismanagement at the Nigerian Football Federation, the NFF. And frankly, what they revealed should alarm every single Nigerian. So, let us break down the numbers because they paint a very clear and very disturbing picture. According to the Arise News, the NFF received a whopping 1 billion naira just last week for the ongoing qualification series. On top of that, another 2 billion naira was disbursed for the last 2 games. And get this, in just the last year alone, the NFF has reportedly received 6.5 billion naira. These are staggering amounts of money flowing into our football administration. Now, contrast that with the core of the dispute that led to our players' protest and disruption of training, a mega $189,000 in unpaid bonuses. Seriously, we are talking about billions of naira versus less than $200,000 in dispute. This isn't a funding problem, it is an accountability problem. This colossal gap between what the NFF receives and the relatively small amount owed to the players for their hard work and their dedication is absolutely unacceptable. It clearly indicates funds are either being mismanaged, diverted, or simply not reaching the athletes they are meant for. The human cost of this mismanagement is evident. Our players, the very individuals who carry the hopes of a nation on their shoulders, were forced to protest. They were deprived of adequate training time, with only 1 session under their belts before a crucial qualifier, and some even endured very poor accommodation. As the Arise News analyst rightly pointed out, in professional sports, if you don't train, you can't perform at the highest level. This directly jeopardizes our World Cup dreams. Now, let's talk about the courageous call for a forensic audit. made by Rufai on the show. He hit the nail on the head, recalling past instances where the EFCC investigated the NFF, but those findings seemingly disappeared, or, as he puts it, the cases were killed. This isn't a new issue. It is a chronic disease within Nigerian sports administration. The fact that the House of Representatives Committee is also currently tasked with auditing all grants received by the NFF from FIFA and CAF over the last decade speaks volumes. But as Rufai emphasized, we need those documents in public circulation, not more hidden reports. When the Arise News panel mentioned Nigeria happened as the reason for these issues, it resonates deeply. It points to a systematic breakdown, a culture of corruption, and the impunity that has plagued various sectors, including sports. This isn't just about football. We've seen similar issues with our basketball players and other athletes across different sports, where promises of payment and support go unfulfilled. Now, let's give credit where it's due. As the Arise News team did for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his intervention to settle the backlog of wages and salaries for all national teams in football is a commendable immediate step. It shows responsiveness and a commitment to address the players' grievances. Rufai even praised him as a listening man. However, while we appreciate President Tinubu taking action, it is crucial to understand that this is a stopgap measure. The real victory will be when such interventions are no longer necessary, because the NFF operates with utmost transparency and accountability. So this incident highlights that funding isn't the problem. It's the lack of oversight and integrity within the NFF itself. The huge sum allocated by the government and international bodies should be more than enough to cover players' welfare, training, and all operational costs without any hitches. For Nigerian sports to truly thrive and for our athletes to reach their full potential on global stage, we need more than just presidential intervention. We need a complete overhaul of the NFF's financial system. A thorough public and impartial forensic audit is not just suggestion. It is an absolute necessity. Those found responsible for mismanaging funds must be held accountable regardless of their position. So what are your thoughts, Trending Gist fam? Are you optimistic about the future of Nigerian sports? Do you believe a forensic audit will finally bring the much needed transparency and accountability to the NFF? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Abati's Trending Gist for more incisive analysis. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and let's keep pushing for a better Nigeria.